Organization specifically exists to create a massive movement of leaders, not just in long-term recovery, not just in excited speakers that go start chapters and change public policy, but we are here to further permeate our communities to be recovery ready. When we talk about activism, which I say intentionally, not advocacy, which I appreciate, and our organization has done very well for several years in advocacy, but there's a point when advocacy pivots to activism and we say, enough is enough. Enough is enough. I appreciate the attention, I appreciate the stage time, I appreciate the CNN time. We have to change things locally because we're talking about saving lives. Not just dollars, not just cents, and there's actually even other great literature out there around the cost-benefit analysis of actually literally investing in people in recovery, the copious amounts of savings on a system or in a community when we do that, which is not theory, conjecture, or a hyper speaker. It's somebody that actually knows, and individuals that know we're actually saving money by investing a little bit of money in recovery. Wow, are we saving money all throughout the system of healthcare? And so, our organization, just as a free heads up, will be getting a little bit louder. We're getting a little less, not that we were not going to be polite or not classy, but we're going to make sure that people know that this is happening in every single community. And I'll say it again, because it isn't just Ohio, it isn't just Kentucky, it isn't just West Virginia. It is every single community in our entire nation is going through this epidemic. And it isn't just the opioid epidemic, which I know is obviously in the forefront of everybody's minds, and I've lost many friends to this, and so I don't say this lightly at all, but I also grew up in this little recovery movement under the era of the Colorado Meth Project, actually, when meth was the crisis. Just as a heads up, because you may not hang out with a bunch of people that use drugs, which is totally okay, meth still exists. Meth didn't go away. In some communities, it's outpacing, which is an odd term, but we're going to go with it. Meth is outpacing other drugs. So I say that as, hey, opioid epidemic, if that's getting us some attention right now and maybe even unlocking a few shekels here and there in comparison to the other billions of dollars set aside for other crises, okay. But alcohol kind of still exists. Cocaine, yup, still around. And so we're not addressing just the opioid epidemic, we're addressing the epidemic that people don't realize the fundamental gross error in not understanding that addiction recovery is not just the Narcan or naloxone things. And those are great things. Suboxone, methadone, great. Those are awesome, they're saving lives. That's like a sliver, that's like the bite size that I cut off of a pizza to give to my daughter because she can't even eat a full piece. That doesn't address the whole pie, and we have to build an oven that can crank out those right pizzas. Forgive me for my analogies. Aaron works with me a lot. He knows that they come out all the time. So, activism and policy to further recovery-ready communities. An example of that would be the Comprehensive Addiction Recovery Act. We know that we unlocked some monies there, at least for recovery though. Does anybody, sorry I guess in advance for putting everybody on the spot, does anybody know the dollar figure approximately? It doesn't even have to be exact. That through the Comprehensive, I didn't name this, Comprehensive Addiction Recovery Act, how much money was set aside for recovery? I'm sorry, say that again? 17 million, somebody said 10%. We would have been closer with either $10 or 17 bucks. So it's about $1 million. Now there's a lot of other money that is being put to great work, and I don't want to like muddy the water with dramatic speaking. There's great monies at work. They're going to Medicaid-assisted treatment, they're going to prevention, they're going to all types of really, really, really important things, but not recovery. And I'm a little biased towards recovery. For the sake of the entire continuum, that when we invest in recovery, everything else gets better too. It's that empowerment effect. It's that it has an inertia, it has a momentum, it changes everything. And so, we'll also look at even the 21st Century Cures bill, right? That was a little bit better. My wife and I were actually there to see President Obama and Joe Biden sign off on that. It was his last bill. It is more famously known as the Moonshot bill. They also snuck in I believe it was like a cool $1 billion for addiction recovery services. But again, very small amount set aside towards recovery. And even if it was the full $1 billion, even if it was a $500 million between CARA and between 21st Century Cures Act, Just for frame of reference, even around, and I'm talking to experts now, I do understand that. But when we look at other kill rates of other public health crises like Ebola, Zika, you can probably imagine where I'm going with this, or the potential kill rates of things like that, they get emergency supplemental funding like that. Big companies, Google, hey, let's just go like raise some more money and put like a dollar thing on the Google search bar. Now, are we doing that for addiction recovery? Are we even doing that for opioids alone? No. So those are some of the macro things that our organization focuses on. We were able to focus on those things because we have YPR supporters, and this is a direct offer to each of you. No pitch, no for $9.99 today, you can be a member, none of that. Grassroots movements matter more when people not directly impacted by the issue also co-sign on it, so to speak. I think co-sign is actually a really loaded term here. So when people say, I'm actually not a person in recovery, I am an ally, or hey, I know Justin, he sold me, he did, you know that guy. He said that I should probably care about this because it's going to impact my kids and their kids. And I want to say, you know what, I believe in this. It's no money, no signing bills, nothing other than we can say, we have a constituency of tens of thousands of people that actually do believe in this. It is not me. It is not a small group of people that this is our issue. This needs to be America's issue, right? So supportership, not for people in recovery, not for young people, not for old people, not for anybody other than Americans that say we care about this. YPR members, these are the individual members. Again, no fees are due. I mean, everything we do is just free. We'll just be really clear about that. Our members belong to the local chapters. We have local chapters set up all over the country providing direct services in employment, housing, education, or they're helping facilitate some of those programs I mentioned before that intersect with systems like treatment or treatment or the criminal justice system like EPIC or Phoenix. Those are some of the names of those programs. And they also provide crazy cool events like they call them pro-social activities, which basically means like a sober tailgate. Like, yo, I'm in college, I want to go to the game, I'm a guy who's trying to be in recovery, don't really want to go where there's a whole bunch of alcohol and other drugs, so could we have like a recovery community go and do that? And so recovery ready communities, again, is anything that's happening in high schools. There's the Association of Recovery High Schools, there's the Association of Recovery Higher Education, there's Transforming Youth Recovery, there's the Association there's the Association of Alternative Peer Groups. I'm happy to even provide a list and email it out because I want you to be aware that it's not just YPR, it's not about YPR, it's about there's a lot of great things happening around the country, and oftentimes our chapters are the volunteer, and sometimes we get to hire people even, which is really exciting, but is the volunteer glue that holds these communities together to advance policy, to provide programs, and to make sure that we're making a positive impact in those local areas. And then last but not least, we have YPR leaders that work directly with myself, other national staff members. We train them in leadership development, public speaking, grassroots community organizing, how to recognize funding opportunities, how to train peers in their community to provide ongoing peer recovery support services. But these are just the three kind of levels of engagement that if I'm also a stakeholder in a community, how do I interact with YPR? One, everybody can by being a supporter. Two, maybe local people would like to join an existing chapter and help them do what chapters do. Or three, gosh, I think maybe I should start a chapter. Maybe I know somebody in a community that should start a chapter. I think I have somebody in mind that this is a great leadership opportunity for them, very AmeriCorps-esque, if you will, that there's going to be a wonderful opportunity for them to be that change that they want to see in the community.